first time. Yeah, so where are you guys from actually? Like, is everyone from India, or like is Hindi and English fine? Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So let's talk about PLAB. My idea with this video is that there are so many people who are really new to PLAB, and they have no idea before making a huge life decision. It's not a silly decision. Like, yeah, most of you are from India. You're huge. You might be divided between NEET and PLAB, and just because you heard that PLAB was good, just don't jump into it. Really know what it is. See, I'm not claiming to know everything about PLAB. I have just cleared IELTS and my PLAB 1. I was preparing for PLAB 2 when this COVID-19 crisis happened. So my exam got cancelled. So I'm basically stuck here. So I thought I'll help some people. See, I'm not claiming to know everything, and you'll get more information online. But the thing is, while you're preparing for PLAB 1, there are so many things that you wish you knew. At least I did. So that is what I'm trying to provide right now. So let me just give you a brief introduction into how I got introduced into PLAB actually. So I was hell bent on doing PLAB, no, on doing NEET. So one day I was, just washing my dishes, and some YouTube video was playing in random. Hands were wet, and there was this doctor Nasir Khan. He is a Pakistani IMG who gave a huge webinar on PLAB. So that is when I was like, okay, this seems really good, too good to be true kind of situation. So that's how I got to know about PLAB. You should actually watch this video. I'll link his video below after this session. So yeah, like what I'm trying to achieve over here is give you a basic idea of PLAB and how to prepare for PLAB 1. There is no proper video on resources that should be used. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to achieve. You can hear me, right? Yeah, I hope, yeah, you can hear me. So yeah, getting into the basics of PLAB, see, the only eligibility criteria that you have for writing PLAB is getting done with your final year exams. So once you're done with that, you can get into writing PLAB. So your first step is your English exam, like IELTS or OAT. Like it depends, what you want to do. If you're kind of good with English, kind of good doesn't mean that you should be hi-fi English speaker or anything. You just need to have a basic knowledge of your grammar. See, like I was in a situation in my college area, like used to speak a lot of Hindi, and I used to speak in Malayalam. I'm from Kerala, so my English speaking skills were not up there. But still, it's not really hard. Like I didn't go for any coaching. YouTube was actually enough for me. But this might not be the situation for everyone, because I was not aware of OAT at that time when I gave my IELTS. I just knew that this thing was there, but it was kind of alien and new. Like GMC had just accepted OAT at that time. So yeah, IELTS is basically the reason to go for IELTS are like if you know English a little bit, if you used to read books, and if you studied in your school in English language. So IELTS is actually doable. And OET is for people who are not really confident about their English, because OET is kind of easier to crack, but at the same time, it's really expensive. See, in India, it's around 13,000 for IELTS, and it's double that, around 30,000 for OET. So that difference matters. But if you feel like you cannot crack your IELTS in first attempt, then it's better to go for OET, because it's not worth the frustration. The easier the earlier you get done with your OET or IELTS, you can focus on your PLAB 1. And the reasons for getting into PLAB 1 earlier is like, so many. Like, it's better to get into the system earlier because there are, instances where, the competition ratios are increasing like anything. So many people are doing PLAB now, like, compared to when I was just starting about. Now, like, so many of my juniors and even my seniors are asking me about PLAB. So you can imagine the increasing competition. They are even planning to replace this PLAB exam into something known as UKMLA. What about now? Hello? Yeah, it should be clear now. Yeah, okay. So what I was saying is that you should get done with your English exam as soon as possible because it might get replaced by UKMLA. See, it's not a big deal. I'll get to UKMLA. Okay, it's not like if UKMLA comes, then you're gonna fail all of a sudden. But every time there's a change in your pattern of exams, it's better to wait for some time before going and being their guinea pig. So yeah, first you have to get done with your IELTS. Then comes your PLAB 1 exam, which I'll talk in detail. And like once you're done with your PLAB 1 exam, after PLAB 2, you have to work for 1 year, especially for Indian students who have done with your internship. What happens is they want, like in UK, their internship or house job or foundation year, it's all the same thing. It is for 2 years. So in India, our internship is for 1 year. So what they're trying to achieve is basically make sure that after your final year, you have 2 years of experience. So this experience can be anywhere. It can be in your own home country. Like, after your internship, you can work for 1 year and you can go to UK and you can enter the training pathway. Or, you can work for 6 months over here and 6 months over there. It doesn't matter. So I'll get into that. Let me see if I have missed anything. So in IELTS, the criteria is that, like, for IELTS, you have to get 7 in each and 7.5 overall to be eligible to write PLAB. And in OET, you just need a score of B. And like I did hear that like currently they are accepting OET at home. It's something where they use some computer software. You can sit at your homes and you can write your OET. So that is a good option. Please do your research on that. Don't fall into any kind of silly traps. Okay, there are so many traps going on in Facebook groups. Trust me, you don't want to get yourself there. And even for IELTS, I did read it somewhere that they are planning to accept IELTS at home, but that is just to make you eligible for writing PLAB 1. But when you go for GMC registration, you will have to prove that you have written a proper IELTS exam after going to the center. So yeah, just don't count me on that. At least just take care of that part. So IELTS costs around 13,500 rupees in India, and OET is 30,000. I did mention the positives and negatives of each. If anyone is joining just now, and if you missed anything, I'll just save this video to my YouTube channel so you can play it back later. I'll remove the wasted parts and I'll just keep the rest. So if I have to put it in pounds, IELTS is around 160 pounds and OET is around 332 pounds. So PLAB 1 costs around 239 pounds, which is around 23,000 rupees. So after you're done with your IELTS or OET, like you will get a test result number. So that is what you use to make a GMC account, and there you have to enter these infos and other some infos about like where your education was done, etc. You can make a GMC account, and yeah, you will be eligible to book for PLAB 1. And after you're done with your PLAB 1, you will book for PLAB 2. PLAB 2 was kind of cheaper before. We are unlucky. They actually doubled the price this April, I believe. It's around 875 pounds, which is 85,000 Indian rupees. That's a bit sad. But yeah, at least it's way better than, way cheaper than USMLE, etc. So now let's get into resources. Many people are really confused about resources to use for PLAB 1. I will get into rest of the things, okay, like what are your opportunities after PLAB 1, etc. But now I'll get into resources because most of the people who are personally messaging me wanted to know a lot about resources, so I thought I'll get into that first. So when it comes to resources, are there, like for IELTS, you just need YouTube videos, you don't need anything else. IELTS is about the structure. You really need to know about how the structure is. Other than that, you cannot pass the exam. Trust me, my English wasn't that good. My grammar was okay, but still it wasn't great. So I just focused on YouTube videos. There is some channel known as IELTS Liz. So I will link her channel below, and there is English 2 language E2, something like that. I will link them also. So they have like proper resources and modules for free. And there is one writing resource that I use, Barron's Writing. It's a book where they have practice materials. They'll tell you how to approach the writing. So that is all you need to pass IELTS. And if you feel that you are not gonna crack IELTS at your first go, don't worry, take some more time. Don't waste your money, because there are stories of people who write IELTS like around 5 to 6 times. It's not worth it, because you don't want to waste money on that. Because see, if you fail PLAB twice, you're losing 85,000 into 2. That is the amount of money you're going to lose. So keep your failures for PLAB 2 or PLAB 1. Hopefully you don't have to do that. So take care of your IELTS and OET. Even for OET, there are so many resources online. You don't have to waste your money by going for any sort of coaching. Coaching is actually very overrated. So yeah, now resources for PLAB 1. Resources for PLAB 1 in detail. There are so many free resources, okay? Like you should make a decision on whatever resource you use, taking into consideration of how much money you're willing to spend. If you don't want to spend any money, you're like really conjuice, you can actually go for free materials. There's nothing like you cannot pass PLAB 1 at least without paying huge sums of money. Because most of the people whom I follow, for example, the doctors in Road to UK, Nasir Khan, and so many other doctors, they all passed using one book known as Khalid's 1700 MCQs. You must have heard a lot about them, but it was relevant at that time. But now I don't think it's that relevant. The reason is that in UK they keep on updating their system, their guidelines. So at the time when he wrote it, it was next to perfect. But now there are things that are outdated, there are controversial questions. So you don't want to learn the wrong thing. It's not going to make a big difference, but yeah. But luckily for you guys, I saw that Khalid released an updated version of his own question bank last week. So I'll try to link that also below. So since I haven't gone through that specifically, so I really don't know if it is going to make a huge difference. So yeah, Dr. Khalid's 1700 questions, that's really important. But if you're studying PLABable, which I'm coming to right now, then you don't need to go through his questions. Then there is something known as SUSH Unity, SUSH Unity. According to what I believe, they were a group of students who were studying for PLAB, and they created their own question bank, their own set of explanations. So they are also free. Like a quick search on Facebook will lead you to that file. And there is a lot of fake stuff going on in these kind of free question banks. It's better not to waste your time on that and go for more reputed sources. Now coming to the paid sources, the only thing that you should go through. Like if there is one end all be all source that you can crack PLAB with, it's Plabable. So Plabable is a question bank made by some doctors working in the NHS. I think his name is Dr. Adam Jake. So he curated this question bank. It is said that he based this on Dr. Khalid's 1700 books. I don't know if there is any copyright or ethics issues in that. I have no idea. I don't want to get into that. There is a lot of controversy going around, with relations to that. So let's just leave that part. For our study's sake, it's a real good question bank. Probably he started with those questions, and the best part is that it's updated. Every time there is something known as NICE guidelines, which UK government puts out. They almost kind of refresh things like every year. So every time they make a change, they make sure, like Plabable people make sure that their question bank is updated. They try to add questions to the question bank whenever, like an exam is over. So if your March exam gets over, like within 1 or 2 months, you will see questions that were added in that were present in that question, that year's questions, they'll add it to that. So that is really good. And another reason why Plabable is really good is that they have, like, under each question, they have a brief explanation of how they reached the answer, and also there are links to NICE guidelines. NICE guidelines is like, whenever UK government puts up something, you can go to that link and you can see if this is authentic, or if you feel like you want to learn something more. Also, there is something known as patient info. This link is also given by Plabable. So kudos to that. That's really good. And there is one more reason why you should go for Plabable. There's a community section. So for each question, you can go to the right side. There are options, and there's a basically like a chat kind of feature. So you can see what people have discussed regarding to those questions. So you can make use of that also. I've learned a lot through that community section. Now next, PLAB 1 keys. So Plabable is really important. Okay, I would say I passed the exam solely due to Plabable. And there is PLAB 1 keys. You must have heard that the ultimate combination for passing PLAB is Plabable and PLAB 1 keys. So okay, the reality is that okay, I don't want to get into any sort of legal issues, but I've used PLAB 1 keys, and I was probably one of the first users of PLAB 1 keys. Every single material that I have gone through that PLAB 1 keys has is derived from the answers of the questions given in Plabable. I don't know how they get away with it, but yeah, this is the reality. They have basically, I feel, in my opinion, that they have copy pasted things from Plabable. So if you want to waste money on something that is redundant, because it's the same information, the only merit I see to using PLAB 1 keys is that in Plabable, it's like, if you want to revise MI, it's really hard to go out and find where the MI question is. But now they have added some feature in Plabable after my exam. So I don't know, like probably, but still there is merit to using PLAB 1 keys in the sense that, like, for example, I want MI. In Plabable, you have to go into CVS and you have to remember which question number it was. You have to go there and then find the information. But for PLAB 1 keys, CVS is a topic and you can find the material written. And similar with PLAB verse. PLAB verse is has also the information which is kind of very similar to Plabable and PLAB 1 keys, but it is arranged in a better manner. So it's your choice. Like, if there is one ultimate choice that you need, it is Plabable, and PLAB 1 keys and PLAB verse, it's your choice. If you have some extra cash to spend, actually, yeah, go with it. But if you're short in cash, don't let anyone believe that PLAB 1 keys or PLAB verse is really needed. Then there is one more thing known as Passmedicine. Okay, so Mr. Demon says you will be served a lawsuit now. That's why I use the word opinion. So I think that's how copywriting things work. I don't know. So yeah, when it comes to Passmedicine is a very good resource. I would say that is one of the best question banks. But I think for PLAB 1 level, it's too much. there is too much information. They have really given like explanation like properly. They have some tie-ups with osmosis medicine also, I guess. They have some links for that. So it's really good, but the questions are like too tough. You don't need to go into that much detail. But if you feel like, sometimes you feel guilty, okay, shit, I'm learning things which are too silly. PLAB 1's level is little low. Is PLABable enough? So if you're kind of a person who worries a lot about that, then yeah, go for Passmedicine. I had a Passmedicine subscription, but it's really hard. Like, you cannot finish Passmedicine questions. There are more than 3000 questions over there. So yeah, you can go for that too. And it's cheaper also. Like, PLABable is around 25 pounds, and I think Passmedicine is 15 pounds. It is way more knowledge, and it's presented like really well. Now about Oxford handbooks. Okay, see, once you start studying for the exam and you join many WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups, there'll be so many people who will be like, dude, you're not gonna pass with PLABable shit. You need to use some reputed sources like Oxford handbooks. Okay, I don't want to sound rude, but there are many people who studied solely from Oxford books, and they were really knowledgeable. But the reality is that by PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, they have stated this properly in their website also, in GMC, by GMC. They are trying to get doctors. They're trying to filter doctors who are able to do things that an FY2 doctor is able to. That is, an intern in their country is able to do. That's it. Like, sometimes there are some questions for our PLAB exam. The question scenario will be 1 page long. So when you start reading that, you'll get palpitations. Oh God, what is the question gonna be? But in reality, they'll ask like, what are you gonna do like initially? So the answer is ABCD: airway, breathing, circulation, etc. So you don't need Oxford books. Like, you can use it as a reference. You'll gain a lot of knowledge. It's the same thing as Passmedicine. Like, knowledge wise, it's like superb. But for PLAB, if you have 3 or 4 months, or you have 1 month for your exam, don't go for these heavy resources. And I also came across one more app known as UKMed. It's a new player in the game. I'm not sponsored or anything, even though I wish I was. I did go through their question bank. It's an app. Okay, UKMed. I'll try linking them below. So they have also taken a different approach. I think they are 1700 questions, but they have a different approach. I think you should, if you feel like you want to add some other source, UKMed is also a good option. So I did give you so many options. And there is one more thing: med revisions. Med revisions too has so many things in similar with PLABable. They have changed some wordings here and there, but if you don't want to waste your money, I would suggest staying away from other resources. PLABable is actually enough. If you have any doubts regarding this, please message me. Okay, if you think you need anything other than PLABable, I'll talk you out of it. Trust me, like, this is the most common question that goes through like in every single PLAB 1 group. I've been a member of probably 10 or 20 PLAB groups, and this is the question that comes up every single time. I made a promise to myself: I'm not gonna go out of PLABable, and if I fail this exam, okay, fine, I'm gonna move on and learn some other resources. But at least for this exam, I'm focusing on PLABable. That is enough. Trust me, that is enough. And there are some other question banks that come up too. Screenshot of certain questions from Swami and Samson. These questions are also really incomplete, probably because it's plagiarized material. Students just pick it up from here and there. They confuse people. People get tensed. I don't think it's worth it. And I also saw one more thing. Like, PLABable releases big mock every year. See, you can gain like 1 or 2 questions, okay, at least less than 10 questions by attending the big mock. But in my personal opinion, and I've asked so many people if it was worth it, every single one of them said it is worth it if it was for, 10 pounds or so, and they charge a lot more. So it's really not worth it. Don't waste your time, like waste your time, money, and effort. Yeah. So, do you have any other doubts regarding resources to be used? Do let me know. Okay, there is some 5 to 6 second lag between, like, when I start talking and it comes on the screen. So if you have any resources related doubt, please let me know. You can use the chat section. So yeah, when it comes to, like, after you're done with PLAB 1, you can do something known as epic verification. Okay, so once you're done with your PLAB 1 and you've gotten your degree from your college, it's a way for them to, accept your degree and put them online. So they'll do some video calls and they'll keep some contact with your college, and these things are what happens during epic verification. You have to pay some amount, and it's not a huge deal. Like, I'll give you links for all of these, so don't worry about that. Yeah, so PLAB 2, for now, the thing is you have to attend some academy. There are, like, different academies uh, who do a wonderful job, and people do pass. The only thing is it's really expensive. It's almost as expensive as the PLAB 2 exam. So that is a bit sad. My whole point with this channel is that there are so many things that is really confusing. Like, for example, if you check about USMLE, there are so many doctors who have documented their journey. So I wanted to document my journey and make it easier for people who are embarking into the PLAB 2 journey. See, nowadays there is a trend of people trying to study for PLAB 2 on their own. It's understandable because PLAB 2, they just double their price, so people are trying to find ways where they can cut some costs, because travel costs etc are there, and if you fail PLAB 2, it's another deal. That's why I'm telling, don't fall into traps. Don't subscribe to more than one thing, like Plabable, and these things are enough. So don't spend money earlier in your journey. Don't waste money over there. Save it for anything that may happen for PLAB 2, because once you fail for PLAB 2, it's gonna be expensive, so you need to save some cash for that time. Now, after PLAB 2, what happens? After you are done with your PLAB 2, you get your GMC registration. That's not a hard process. Like, I will, like, most of you are beginners, right? So hopefully before you guys reach there, I will reach that position. I'll document everything properly. I promise, at least. Okay, there are 19 people watching now. I'll make sure that you guys won't have further questions. I'll document everything. Don't worry, because I have not been through PLAB 2 and GMC registration. If I'm saying anything, it will be just I don't know, like, I don't find it to be that interesting. I'll let you know in detail. So after PLAB, what happens is that you have two options with you. Like, you can go into FY2 training, or you can go into doing a non-training. So what FY2 is, like I did mention, that after your PLAB, after your final year, in India you have 1 year of internship, but in UK you have 2 years, right? So you have to make up that 1 year, like 12 months of experience, by doing whatever, like you can work over here or work over there. So one option is you can enroll into their foundation 2 year program. So there, after foundation 1 year, they upgrade into foundation 2. So you can join the students over there in foundation 2, or you have an option of working as a non-trainee doctor. So non-trainee is basically like working as an MO in India. So how this works is, for foundation 2, like, there are positives and negatives of going through both routes. Okay, in foundation 2 training, because it's like internship, you don't have any say in what department you're kind of gonna get. So it's just part of an internship. You might get cardiology and obs gynae and blah blah blah. But one positive about that is, there are some competencies that you have to get signed. So that thing is, you get that if you go and join a foundation year 2, this thing, the onus of you becoming a proper intern, who knows everything, is on them. So you don't have to take it upon yourself. But if you go into a non-training post, in a non-training post, what happens is like you can do whatever you want. For example, if I want a chill specialty, I can go into psychiatry or medicine or whatever. Like wherever there are opportunities, I can go there. But the thing is, like I have to fill in. There is a form known as CREST form. So this CREST form is the kind like list of things that you have to know as a doctor, as an intern. So you have to go get these things ticked off by a doctor, and the onus is on you when you're a non-trainee. But when you're in FY2, it just happens. It's their responsibility because you have enrolled in their program. It's on them. So that is the major difference. So you can choose to go like on whatever route, but one thing that is fishy about FY2 is that you need to have an IELTS score of 7.5 in each module, which is kind of hard. At least I found it hard. To be eligible for that, you have to go through that route. There are some other routes. Okay, don't get disheartened if you want to go that internship route, because I did get in contact with one of my seniors, and she told me that one of her friends tried to gather evidence from her college that all of the exams were conducted in English language and they were taught in English language. If this is there, there is a possibility that you can get into FY2. But on paper, the rule is that you need 7.5 in each module and equivalent in OET2 for getting into an FY2 post. Then you get into non-training. So this kind of experience, you can do it anywhere. You can have it in India, in whatever country you want. They just want 12 months of experience post internship before you can get into any kind of training post in the UK. So after you're done with 12 months of work anywhere, you get your CREST form signed off. That is your competencies. Then you can choose your specialty. So there are different routes like you can take. For example, if you want to go into medicine, you have 3 years of internal medicine training or 2 years, depending on like whatever specialty you choose. And just so you know, like interestingly, there are two kinds of specialties. Okay, there is run through and uncoupled. See, run through specialties is when for specialties that come under run through, like for example obs gynae and radiology, they come under run through specialty. So you just have one interview to get into this training pathway, and once you're entered, you don't have to give any other interview. It just keeps on going, and you come out of the end as a consultant. But for uncoupled specialties, for example, if I want to be a gastroenterologist, I'll have an interview in the beginning, and after that 3 years I have to go through my beginning training. Like it's more or less like our MD over here. So that 3 years, after that 3 years, you have to give another interview to get into the rest of the pathway. And usually there is a split. Okay, for example, if you take an obs gynae post, you wrote your PLAB 1, you got into your non-training or FY2, then you gave an interview and you got into the pathway. Then after this 3 years, they will assess your knowledge by keeping a membership exam. For example, MRCP. Is my audio and video clear? Like Mr. Demon can't seem to see my video properly. Yeah, so where was I? So you will have a membership exam, and you'll have a membership exam. For example, for surgery, it is MRCS, and for obs gynae, it's MRCOG, and MRCP and MRPsych for medicine and psychiatry, respectively. So once you're done with this, then you do the rest of your specialty. See, for example, I'm taking gastroenterology, okay, because this is something that I was interested in. So you have core training 1, 2, and 3. These 3 years. After that, by that time you can clear MRCP. You can clear MRCP whenever you want. Okay, it's not a big deal, but it should be before you enter CT4. It's not CT4, it's ST4. ST stands for specialty training. So once you're done with your MRCP, you're eligible to enter ST4. So because medicine does not come under run through specialty, you'll have to go through one more interview process, then you continue, and by ST6 ST8 you'll have to prove that you are eligible to be a consultant, and then you get something known as CCT. Okay, so CCT, when you get CCT, that's when you're known as a consultant. This is how the basic framework works in UK. There is one more shorter way, like, there are people in, they're called MBBS doctors in India, right? So that is GP in UK. For that, it's a total of 3 years. There's another exam pathway over there. If you want to know something about that, you can, message me personally, or I can make a separate video about that. Yeah. So if you have any doubt about how this thing works, please let me know. Okay. I will talk about like other competition issues and all of that soon. Now, okay, this was run through versus coupled specialty, and this is the basic specialty training. So now about competition, there were many people who asked me about competition in UK. So I have been following this actually since like 1 to 2 years. Competition has been increasing. Like around 2 years back, hardly anyone was doing or talking about PLAB 1, but now every other guy is doing PLAB. So competition is actually increasing. But one good thing is, at least for 2 to 3 years, competition should be manageable, because doctors are categorized under shortage occupation list in UK, because it's like a government system. And the private setups are really less. The whole of UK's medical system is handled by doctors, and they accept that everything is managed by IMGs. So a huge majority of people working over there are IMGs. So even though the competition is steadily increasing, which will make it harder for us, like, 1 year back it should have been easier than what it's going to be like 1 year after this. So competition is steadily increasing, but you have hope. I've been talking with people who are in the UK. They are like, see, interview times, see, like, before this, like, for example, in a specialty like psychiatry, where the competition was low, CV had almost no importance. But nowadays, it's not like that. Yeah, nowadays it's not like that. CV is being more important by the day. See, in USMLA, you must have heard that CV is really important. You need to do researches. In UK, the thing was not like that, but things are changing. That is the importance of competition. I will come to how we should build your CVs. Okay, so yeah. And due to COVID, there is another issue that many people are not, getting calls after their interviews. So that is actually kind of an exaggerated situation of competition. So wait for some time. Due to COVID, everywhere the competition has increased, but it's not bad yet. But in 2 years, I predict that the things might change, kind of for the worse, but it's still not the end of the world. Now, let's talk about salary. This is another thing that everyone wanted to ask me. See, you shouldn't go to UK to be a millionaire. I did see some posts on Facebook asking, like, how can I be a millionaire after going to UK, or things of that sorts. See, UK is not somewhere you should go if you want to make a lot of money by being a doctor. See, because doctors are well paid compared to the average. The salary is above average, but it's not up there. If you want to be a rich doc, you can go to some Nordic countries. There, the salary is really good, and of course USA. But if you try to, if you try to consider the salary from US and UK, it's not gonna work. See, but let me give you an estimate. See, for example, if I clear my PLAB 2 right now, and I go do a non-training job, or as join a CT1 medicine, I'm gonna get a take-home pay after tax of around £2,200, which is almost near 2 lakhs. It's 1,96,000 if I'm not wrong. This is the just the basic salary. Okay, you can keep on adding things to that. The work hours in UK is also really chill. 40-hour weeks, I guess that is what is counted as a normal working time period over there. So on top of that, you can keep something known as sociable, unsociable hours. That's when you have to work on Saturdays or on Sundays, or night shifts, extra shifts. Then there are some locum shifts which people do. There are many ways you can make money, but you're not gonna be a millionaire. Like, sorry. Yeah. So as a starting doctor, I don't think in India you'll get that. But another issue is this 2 lakh is worth a lot of money in India, but 2 lakhs in UK comparatively it's not that great because living expense also increases, right? So you have to be realistic. So you can this 2 lakhs can vary a lot. Okay, you can bargain how much money you're gonna get. There are certain things that they factor in your experience, your bargaining power. Yeah, actually you can bargain for your salary to be increased. And if you have worked for 3 years, or if you're able to show with your CV that you are valuable to them, then they will increase your salary a lot. So by the time you are a consultant, that like you should be able to more than double this amount of money. So I'll make a dedicated video on salary actually. Since I'm not there, I cannot comment on this realistically. So this is what I've gathered from some people I've talked to in the UK. Like, yeah, like I said, there are many variables. Like if you have any teaching things going on, it will add to your salary. If you have any accomplishments, like some awards or anything, you'll get points added to your salary system, and you'll get more money in that sense. See, there is not just one route. Okay. See, PLAB is not the end all be all to enter into the UK system. There is things like membership exams. Like I mentioned, MRCP is for medicine, right? See, you can alternatively do something like go and write the MRCP exam. MRCP part, like finish whole of MRCP. I think there are 3 parts technically. So finish all of those. If you're done with that and your score is kind of good, you can actually go to UK and enter in between. You can skip the first 3 years of training and you can get in. And even if you clear 1 or 2 parts, which doesn't make you eligible to enter, like midway into the training pathway, there will be a huge boost to your CV. So it's not all bad. Like if you're free, if you're jobless and you think you're really good, you can try that. Then there are other pathways like MTI, CSR. These are all referring to people who've been working as doctors over here for a while. You can actually use these pathways to get to UK. Now there is a confusion that many people sadly think that PLAB is equivalent to PG. It's not. See, in India, the system is a bit different than how it's in UK or US, etc. See, what happens is, I mean, yeah, not US. At least it's different from India. For example, in India, after you write your NEET, what you're gonna get into is MD or MRCS, etc., or MS Ortho. But these things are separate in like UK. For example, if you're doing an MD, it's a separate thing. It's like a degree. It's like a theoretical thing. It's linked with a lot of researches and everything, but this is completely different. This is like you're being a consultant. You're known as a trainee while you're working, and trainee or a doctor, and then you become a registrar, SHO, and I mean sorry, SHO, then registrar, and then you're gonna be a consultant. You're not gonna be an MD. That is different. The pathway is totally different. So before getting into this, make sure that that is what you want to do. Don't just say that I'm going to do MD in UK and write PLAB. Then you're going to waste your time. I have seen people with my own eyes who have said, I'm done with PLAB 1. At least I'm going to get MD and I'm going to get paid. That's not true. If you want, I can make a dedicated video on that also. But please, it's not. It's a different kind of pathway. So always have a plan B also. Like I would suggest that if PLAB doesn't work out for you, just don't don't get disappointed, because anything can happen. There are many people, many friends that I have who did USMLE, and I have even friends who have done finished with USMLE. They even matched with their residency over there in US, but they couldn't complete it due to certain reasons, and they had to switch to PLAB 2. For them, PLAB 2 was another option, so we should also have another option, whether it's USMLE, AMC. AMC is an exam for Australia. It's not that bad. New Zealand, NZREX, okay, it's an exam. Then there's an exam for Germany. Then there is Canada. Canada, it's next to impossible for IMGs to get into Canada. So there are many options. Always have a plan B, at least in the back of your mind, or else it might lead to some issues. Now, some people ask me, like, why didn't you take USMLE? Like, USMLE versus PLAB is like a huge deal. Some of the positive things about USMLE is the salary. Once you're a doctor in the US, like, you're gonna pay like shit tons of money, and the route is arguably shorter compared to the one in UK. Then the standard of education and the hospitals over there, like, in US the hospitals are really renowned, and so is the UK. Okay, don't let anyone tell you that hospitals are any lesser. It's, I don't know. Well, if you want to be a gastroenterologist, not clear. Yeah. So what happens is that, shit, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. For example, if you want to be a gastroenterologist in the US, you can only end up as a gastroenterologist, and if you want to do something extra in medicine, you really cannot. Realistically, you cannot. But in the UK, what happens is the training is made in such a way that you can do dual training. For example, you develop some interest in some other area of medicine, because the first 3 years made in such a way you can have dual CCT. You can be consultant in two different professions. So some people do that to double their earning capacity. They can go to two different private practices and be consultant in two different specialties. Can you imagine the amount of money that is gonna come through? I don't know why someone would go through that and be like, I don't know. You have to study a lot for that, but yeah, some people do that. But in US or in most of the other countries, this is not a possibility. So it is said that in US you become uh, like a jack of, oh shit, master at one, and in UK you'll become a jack of all trades kind of situation. Yeah, standard of living in the UK is supposed to be one of the best, and it's a place with a lot of happening. I would go there personally for eating their hamburgers and pizzas. So in that sense, UK is really good. Where I don't like things that I don't like about US is that the cost. You'll have to spend around 4 to 5 lakhs for, like, for the whole USMLE route to get done, and that too, after that there is no assurity that you are gonna match into the specialty that you really like. In UK, because the competition is not that high, if you really set your mind to doing something, for example, gastroenterology is really competitive, right? If I really wanted that, I can build my CV into become a gastroenterologist. It's a possibility, but in US, you have to be really studious. Like, it's comparatively hard. Like, there's no denying that. And you for now at least UK is more IMG friendly. Can you believe that they even removed the any kind of privilege that UK citizens had over IMGs? And in an interview, IMGs and UK graduates are considered literally equal on paper. That is really commendable. And you have fewer options, like, because it's not IMG friendly. And the work life balance, there are friends who I have who's working in UK. They have 80-hour work weeks. 80-hour work weeks, it's too much. And I'm just adding gun violence to a mix. I don't know, people who like US is gonna kill me for that. Okay, now let's come into CV. Many people, it's already been too long. Many people want to know a lot about how to build your CV. Okay, see, for CV, things that you can do is do some sort of research. It's not that hard. see, in my college, towards the end, they told us that you're not going to get your medical degree certificates if you don't do a CV. I mean, if you don't have a research. So I had to do a research in 2 weeks. It was not a bad research, okay? It was okay. Do some observational studies which are questionnaire based. It's not that hard. From my topic was something relate, like, to find a relation between stress and menstruation. For example, exam stress and menstruation. So it is a basic questionnaire. You can get a data, you can get it published in so many journals. Any, like, in UK, their system that they have is they have a paper, and they know what all things, like, you get a point for each and everything. So for example, once your research, this thing is ticked off, then you get a point for that. It's better than having nothing. You do some research which is at least relevant. Don't go and do some shit research. Just do something. It doesn't have to be a randomized controlled trial. Many people think that doing research means it's only about doing randomized controlled trials. Then you can do some courses. There are many courses. For example, I belong to Maharashtra Medical Council. My exam was there, and my registration is there. So I went to their website, and I found that they have so many things that are linked to them. There are courses which you get certificates. Just do a simple Google search. You'll find so many resources where you can do a course and you'll get a certificate. So keep adding your certificates. Conferences, even online conferences which are free, or for 100 to 150 rupees. I am going through so many conferences like that. Seminars. And let's come into seminars and webinars. I'm sure most of you I'm sure most of you do conduct seminars or webinars in your college, and it's mostly compulsory in most of the places. See the things, I mean, the reasons what make UK graduates a little bit superior than us is not because they are UK graduates and it's some racist kind of conspiracy theory. It's because they are taught to document everything. If they do any research, or if they do any kind of teaching sessions in their class, if they have any presentations, they make sure that they collect evidences. But in India, this is really lacking. So what you have to do for that is, whenever you have a presentation, I know it can be a bit embarrassing. See, this whole YouTube gig is embarrassing for me. So you can collect evidences. You can ask your friends, just print out some leaflets, make them tick off, like, ask them not like they can mark you negatively just for the horror of it. So ask them to genuinely mark you, and these evidences can actually count towards your CV. See, even this YouTube thing that I'm doing right now, I can actually, funnily enough, I can actually mention this in my CV. So it shows that I have some kind of a management kind of skills. But don't make your life into something that, okay, like, I'm living to build my CV. Like, you can find things, like, they don't know, like, as an interviewer, they don't know who you are. Okay, just because you passed PLAB, nobody's gonna hand you a job. Okay, so right now competition is increasing, and these things matter. Collect evidences. You can teach any students, any juniors that you have. It doesn't have to be anything formal. Even informal things get points in your CV. You can teach, like, 5 of your friends. You can collect some feedback from them, and yeah, even that is counted. But just make sure that you have any sort of documentation. Then there is something known as quality improvement and quality improvement audits. This is when you see something in your hospital, like, for example, you saw that some nurse is not, for example, in this COVID situation, they are not washing their hands properly, or they are not using sanitizers. You are doing something that creates awareness for that. It doesn't have to be in the form of teaching, like, you're keeping an easy access for sanitizers. So that is kind of an quality improvement that you did, and you find a way to document that. Like, just because you changed the placement of where the sanitizer was, more people started using sanitizers. So these can be small things that can be documented, and the interviewer will be like, oh, this dude knows something. He really wants to see some improvements in his hospital. So by taking him in our hospital, we are gonna gain something. At least it's better than someone who doesn't have any sort of quality improvement things in their CV. Reflective practices is when when you talk to a patient, or when you're taking history, you notice some things that were lacking in your consultation. Later on, someone pointed that to you, so you're just reflecting on that, and you're reflecting on what happened, what you should have done, what you have learned from this kind of scenario, and what change it is going to happen to future consultations. These are things that you can document. I'm not kidding, these sound really silly, but these things matter in your CV. um, Anything and everything that you can show can be, like, any sort of skill you should document. See, for example, even in my CV, I did manage a musical band in my college. Once I was an organizing member of that, so I did mention that also. It just shows that you're capable of doing something. One of my band members is in the chat, by the way. uh, yeah, so yeah, clinical attachments. This is a clinical attachment and non-training. This is something where yeah, this is something where you can really make your CV perfect. This is what people actually do. Clinical attachment is when you are not actually working. You don't have a job per se. You're just shadowing someone. You're just seeing, okay, what are these doctors doing? So it's a way for you to learn how the system works. So you can, and you may or may not take a clinical attachment. It's not like necessary. Like, if you feel like you don't have the balls to work over there currently because you're really scared that you might mess up, then you should actually go for clinical attachments, so you can actually observe and learn. So during these times, you can actually, people over there will really help you because they have been doing this in so many years. They'll help you gather evidences, they'll help you build your CV. And even during your non-training job, you have to focus that time on getting your crest form signed off competencies. At the same time, gather evidences for the same. Gather evidences that you are a good doctor, get recommendations, letter of recommendations from good consultants. These are things that you can do. I hope I didn't miss out anything. Okay, and see, just in case PLAB doesn't work out for you, there are so many things that you can do with this PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 after passing PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. I'm giving you some examples. After PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, with 2 years of experience, apparently you can get into UAE, that is Dubai, and work as a GP doctor. And in Dubai, I don't know why you would go there and work as a GP, but the salary is bound to be really good in Gulf countries. Then after PLAB 1, you are exempt from the first few exams that New Zealand has, and you just have to give some part of NZREX, and you're eligible to train in New Zealand. And after PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 and some work experience in UK, probably non-training or whatever experience, you can bypass AMC exam in Australia. Again, I like, these can all be your plan B. Okay, Australia is a good deal, but the thing is, like, competition ratio is a little bit higher over there because the salary is considerably higher than UK, so people do sometimes prefer AMC. But yeah, getting a job can be a hassle and it can be a bit more expensive. After PLAB 1, if you give some exam known as PRES level 3, you can get into Ireland's training system. These are all, kind of very similar to the UK training system. So in that sense, it's really good. Something else I think this is all. Is there anything that you want to ask me in specific? I hope I covered everything. I don't know. See, in general, like, let me tell you some places where you should get information from. I did bombard you with some, I don't know if it was useful. Like, I tried to provide some value. So let me tell you some places where you should get your information from. UK system is super transparent. You can type in anything that you want and you'll find find your information on their government websites, like, properly. If you want to know anything and everything about PLAB, go to their website. GMC website, everything is written, including the competition ratios, which I will post. Give me some 1 or 2 hours. Okay, I will post the competition ratios, like, per specialty. Everything is given. How many people applied, how many people got through, how many people are passing PLAB 2 year over year. how many people are passing, what is the pass rates, everything is given. So you don't need anything else, but these government sites can be a little bit boring. Then there's Nasir Khan's blog, I'll link to that also. Road to UK, amazing. Almost everything that I know is from Road to UK. They have been amazing, wonderful. Like they are two doctors, Ibrij and Ibrahim. I hope I didn't slaughter their names, but yeah, they're really good. They have like superb information. See, what I was trying to do right now is, give you an overall idea. I didn't want you to waste any time. Prepare for PLAB 2. I don't, but if you want to go into any details into what I talked, you can visit Road to UK. Then there is a website known as Savvy IMG, SAVVIIMG. I'll link them also. They have very good information. Then there is a psychiatrist, Dr. Raja Adnan Ahmed. So even he has, detailed explanations of how to build your CV. I did learn a lot from him. And there is one Dr. Siddharth too. So I hope I could provide you some value. If you really have any doubts regarding this, please let me know. I don't know. I really hope I could provide you some value. And see, if you guys don't mind, there are 13 people watching right now. There is a feedback form in the description, and I will update my. Okay, when should we write IELTS? The thing is, IELTS, PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. All of these things have 2 years of validity. Yeah, all of these things have 2 years of validity. So you should plan your PLAB in such a way. See, I gave my PLAB IELTS in such a way that I can space out and finish PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 within that 2 years. So I don't want any of you to waste your time. So manage it accordingly. If you can give your PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 as soon as possible, yeah, actually go for IELTS. There is a possibility that you might not crack your IELTS in the first attempt, so you should consider that also. I'm really sorry, Shweta, but yeah, so consider that too. Do you have any other questions? Time needed for preparation for PLAB 1. Okay, time needed for preparation is really weird, dude. Like, I've seen, moms who post on their Facebook page saying that they've cracked PLAB 1 with 1 month time while handling a kid. I don't know how they do that. I took at least 4 to 5 months, but I wasn't studying like 24/7. I cannot sit and study like that. So take that into consideration too. 3 to 4 months should be enough. And who is really up to date with your final year knowledge, shouldn't be a problem. You should be done within 3 months. 3 months full-time study, 5 months aram se study. Take it in that sense. Any other questions? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Mr. Scott. Oh. Who is Mr. Teeman? Surfer. Okay. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Yeah, I hope you kind of enjoyed the session. Thank you for bearing with me like during the first 20 minutes of I don't know, incompetence. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. I really hope I can document my journey and help you guys. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I'll try to answer your questions. Again, I'm not claiming to know everything, okay? I'll link all of these people below. They should be your first preference. But anything they want to know up until PLAB 1, I'll try not to waste your time and give you no